So given the recent events around the country this summer, several staff members at Lumen Christi started meeting as a racial justice committee. We've been meeting weekly since that time to develop a proposal on how we can ensure that the Lumen Christi community is a welcoming and inclusive place for all people. The mission of this committee is to pray, to listen, to dialogue, and to promote actions that foster inclusivity and racial justice in not only the Lumen Christi parish and school community, but also locally, nationally, as well as globally. This committee worked hard this summer to develop 4 main objectives. The first is for parishioners, for students, and for all staff members to identify that our Christian moral obligation is to promote the human dignity of all people, especially those people who are the most vulnerable within the United States. We know as Catholics that this obligation is based on gospel teachings that all human beings are created in the image and likeness of God. The commandment to love our neighbor and the commandment to care for others, as well as the commandment to work for righteousness and for justice. Our second goal is for all members of the Lumen Christi community, including students and staff, to identify what the root causes of racial inequality are, including disparities in education, in housing, employment, healthcare, and the criminal justice system. Third objective is for all members of Lumen Christi to identify how disparities among different racial and ethnic groups can be based on where a person is born as well as the color of their skin. And finally, the fourth objective of this group is that because we are united by a common humanity, all members of Lumen Christi will identify our moral obligation to assist those individuals who are experiencing violence, regardless of who they are and where they live. So the committee has decided that our 2 priorities for this coming year will be to focus on prayer and to focus on education. As this committee begins our journey, the first step is to develop a common understanding of all people in the Lumen Christi community. Therefore, we'll be facilitating a book study of Open Wide Our Hearts, which is the 2018 pastoral letter written against racism by the Catholic bishops of the United States. I invite you to join me in this book study, which will begin the week of October 19th. There are 3 groups that will be formed, and it's really based on your availability. The first book study group will be meeting from 9:30 in the morning until 11 in the morning on October 19th and October 23rd. The second group will meet from 1 until 2:30 on October 20th and 22nd, and the third group will meet in the evening from 6:30 until 8 p.m. on October 20th and 21st. Mrs. Schulz and I will be joining the second group that is meeting from 1 to 2:30. Members of the book study can participate virtually via Zoom, or you may come into our parish space. The group is asked to read the pastoral letter ahead of time so that our time together can be spent to discuss the content of the letter, share experiences, reflect, and collectively recommend next steps that our parish and school community can take together. I've included the sign up for this book study in today's email. You can also find more information in the parish bulletin.